So KCD2 is finally here. I've been lucky enough to have hands-on with the game for a week or so now, thanks to PlayOn and Warhorse Studios, and I've spent the majority of my 17 or 18 hours of playtime so far trying to find the best ways to make money in the early game. So that is exactly what I'm going to show you guys in today's video, the fastest and most risk-free way of making money early on in KCD2. Now keep in mind, if you played the first game, you probably already know this method. I'm mostly making this for newer players, but it is also super helpful even for the most hardcore of KCD fans, because I'll still show you the exact steps and where you need to find all the ingredients and stuff like that. So without wasting any time, let's get stuck right into it. Now essentially what we're going to be doing in today's video is crafting two different potions. The first one is chamomile decoction, which is something that you will actually learn in the intro sequence of the game. You can make about 20 groschen per minute doing this, and then eventually we will be able to buy the marigold decoction recipe, at which point we'll start making that instead, because you can sell that for more, and that is also just a more helpful potion anyway. So pretty much as soon as the game unlocks into the open world section, I will say it's about a 2.5 hour sort of intro sequence where it isn't really an open world game, but once you get to a place called Troskowitz, that's when you know that you're pretty much into the open world section. Now right here in Troskowitz, you'll find an alchemy bench right up the road from pretty much where you spawn, and you can pretty much always use this one. It isn't like owned by anyone or anything like that. Now for the first potion we're going to be making, you'll just need 2 handfuls of chamomile and 1 handful of sage. Both of these can be found abundantly throughout the world, and in Troskowitz, where this alchemy bench is, there is also a garden in the same section where you can actually freely take their supplies without it being considered as stealing. I was a little bit worried that this would be stealing, so I tried it out, and as you can see, it does not matter. They don't care about you taking their ingredients, which is very, very clutch for us. Now, something to keep in mind too is that it grows back in about 3 days. So if you've used all of yours and you need to get more, you want to make a heap of money, you'll just need to like wait and sleep pretty much for 3 full days, at which point this stuff will respawn. Like I said, it's not just available here either. It is very abundant out in the world too. So essentially, you just want to go and grab a bunch of sage and chamomile from this garden, and again, anywhere else in the world if you want to full on grind and go get as much as you can. Once you've got a bunch of this, you want to head into the alchemy table and start brewing away. Now we're going to use a base of wine. From there, you just want to add 2 handfuls of chamomile into the cauldron and then boil it for 1 turn of the hourglass before you take it off the fire. Now after that, you want to grind 1 handful of sage in the mortar and pestle and then pour that in. And once that's done, you just want to grab a file and pour the potion into that, and essentially just repeat that as much as you can. Now something that is very, very important for this method too, it's going to speed up the process a hell of a lot, is that eventually through doing this you will level up your alchemy skills, and once you get to level 8 and then level 14 eventually in that alchemy skill, what you want to be doing is heading into your player tab. You want to head to the skills tab and then to alchemy, and from there you want to spend your skill points on secret of matter and secret of matter 2. Both of these combined will actually allow you to make 3 extra potions each time you do this process. So that alone is going to speed up this process a hell of a lot. You're pretty much just going to make more money each time you sell these, because you're going to have a lot more potions. Now in terms of selling these potions, once you've made a big batch of them, well, luckily for us, right outside the door is where the apothecary is. So all you need to do is just head in there, go to the vendor and sell as much of this as you can. Obviously vendors in this game and most games have limited amounts of money, so he will eventually run out of money. Just like I said with the ingredients, all you need to do is just wait 3 days. The whole game is kind of on a 3-day cycle. Once you've waited 3 days, he will have sold off all the stuff you sold him, and he will actually come back with even more money, and that is kind of exponential. The more that you sell to him, the more he sells to other people, and he will actually get richer and richer, meaning this process just speeds up as you go. Now from there, once you've got a bunch of money, all you need to do is then from this same guy buy the marigold decoction recipe, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well, because this one not only sells for more, meaning you'll make money once again even faster, but marigold decoction, for those who didn't play the first game, this is essentially your health potion, for lack of a better word. So not only does it sell for more, but it is very, very useful for you as the player. Now before we get on to that next step, if you guys are new to the channel and you are interested in more KCD2 content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There is plenty more content on the way, so make sure you don't miss out. Now like I said, once you've unlocked this recipe, this is the one you want to be making, because the ingredients are just as easy to find, if not arguably easier, and it will just just sell for more. So once you get that recipe, this is now the one you want to focus on. Now, all you're going to need for this recipe is marigold and nettle. Again, luckily for us, they are actually found within this garden. The marigold is impossible to miss. It's the orange plant, and then there's actually a patch down the back of the nettle. And again, these will respawn after 3 days. They're also both very common out in the world too. So again, if you want to go and get a heap of this stuff and make absolute shitloads, it is very easy to find. You can see here on the map, just down to, I guess, the southwest of Troskowitz, you can find a heap of it out in these fields. Once you have a bunch of ingredients, all you need to do is use water for the base. You want to add 1 handful of nettle into the cauldron and boil it for 2 turns of that hourglass. After that, you want to put 2 handfuls of marigold into the mortar and pestle to grind it up, and then add that into the cauldron. Now, the thing that I found though is that instead of boiling that nettle for 2 turns in terms of actually turning the hourglass and just sort of waiting for it to cook, what I found is that if you just start to boil that nettle and then put the marigold into the mortar and pestle and grind it up, once you've done that, that is the exact same time that it would take for turning that hourglass twice. So the best way to actually do it is put the nettle in, put it over the fire, and then from there, just grind up that marigold. Again, make sure it's 2 handfuls. You then just put the mortar and pestle down, take the cauldron off the fire, and you have just saved yourself a lot of time. So doing it that way, once again, makes this process even faster. Rinse and repeat that until you have as much as you want, and again, go and sell it to the apothecary. And at that point, you are now rolling in money, especially, like I said, if you do have those 2 skills that I mentioned earlier. Those are, once again, Secret of Matter and Secret of Matter 2. You're going to be making a shitload of this stuff, and it sells for almost double what the chamomile decoction sells for. So this whole process just becomes exponentially faster, and like I said, eventually you will be rolling in money. Now, it can be a somewhat monotonous or tedious method. It'll take you quite a while, but like I said, it's about 20 groschen per minute for the chamomile brew, and it turns out to be, I think, about 35 roughly for the marigold decoction. So it is worth it at the end of the day, and honestly, it is quite therapeutic having the music on in the game, chilling in the background, and you're just, you know, brewing away. It's actually pretty fun, to be honest. So hopefully it's not too boring for you guys. Like I said, there might be some better ways to make money later on, and obviously you can do the more risky stuff like stealing and all that sort of thing, but in terms of risk-free stuff that is very easy to do and can be done from literally the first minute you spawn into the open world, in my opinion, at least from what I've found anyway, this is the best way to do it. So hopefully that helps you guys out. If it did, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know. And hell, if you guys have found anything better as well, be sure to leave a comment on that too. I can always do a follow-up on some even better methods. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.